For you must understand that a father, he announces, he explains how to chart your course through the chaos to arrive at the destination that you have in view. And without a father there, no matter how great and wonderful the mother is, it is a liability not to have a father, because there are some things that mama cannot teach you. And I grieve for all the sons who never had a father to help them through the maze of masculinity. And may I pause just a moment and explain to women something that you probably never hear men say, because some men are not articulate enough to say it, some are not thoughtful enough to speak it, and most are too private to admit it. But it is real hard to be a man. Now, you have a whole lot of materials and information that undergirds the challenges you go through, and I'm not minimizing what you go through at all, because you go through a whole lot. But just let me tell you, just so that you will know, since you have never spent not one day as a man, let me inform you quite clearly and emphatically that it is hard to be a man. There is not a good man in this room who is not trying to get who you love over the road, over rough road, potholes, treachery, with substandard equipment sometimes, poor education sometimes, little opportunities sometimes didn't have a father yourself, and you are still trying to get them over the road. You see, when it comes to being a man, when it comes to being a father, when it comes to being a man in leadership, I'm gonna tell you something. Ladies, in case you don't know it, I know you talk about being a woman, it's hard, and I believe it. But let me tell you something, being a man ain't no joke.
I think Bishop Jakes knows what I'm talking about.
It ain't no joke. You might not read about it in your magazines that are written by women, to women, telling you 9 things a man needs, and it's so funny, all the stuff you read that your girlfriends tell you that we need. It's a women's magazine, it's a women's article, the woman wrote the story, she's telling you about us. Most generally, she don't know what she's talking about.
Men are builders. And there is no greater responsibility for a male, whether he is married or unmarried, as much as fatherhood.
Things that he should have to call himself a father. Number one, a father is protective. He is concerned about your well-being. It may get on your nerves, but he wants where you at. When the Bible talks a man being a head, it means he's a covering, it means he's protection. That means, and some of the things he's protecting you from, you'll never be able to see, because it hits him first. If I'm a leader, trouble hits me first. I defray the trouble. So anything standing behind me is not going to get the force of the wind, because I'm standing in its way. Now, brothers, here lies the problem with being a father. Most people don't recognize your worth until you're taken away. A good man is recognized for the fullness of his worth upon his departure, because then everything that would have hit you, now you got. Number 2, he's a provider. He is a provider. And when I talk about provisions, it's more than money. He provides wisdom, friendship, counsel, camaraderie. He provides perspective. He provides insight. He has a giving spirit. He adds to your life. Your life is fuller and richer because he's in it. It's not necessarily an issue over who makes the most money. He's still a provider. He may not make as much as you make, but he's in there stretching all he can. He is a provider. He is a contributor. He is a giver. If he's got a stingy spirit, don't date him. I don't care if he's fine as a glass of Chablis. Cut him loose. Because if he's stingy at 20, he's going to be stingy at 70. Number 3, he should be a promoter. Somebody who promotes somebody other than themselves. It's not about getting the whole family to make you look good. It's about using the gifts that God has given you to make them look good. If God the Father spoke about God the Son and said, "This is my beloved Son in whom I am well pleased, hear ye him," there ought to be a time in your life that you begin to recognize that this is not about you, it's about your children. The enemy is not fighting you over you. Can I get into this for a minute? The enemy is not fighting you over you. Number 4, a father is a priest, and as a man you need a prayer life. You have to have a prayer life where you turn stuff over to God. If you don't turn stuff over to God, you will crack, you will break, you will flip out, you will lose control. You have to cast your cares on him. I'm not worried about it, I'm turning it over to the Lord. As the people turn it over to you, you have to then turn it over to the Lord. The kids bring you trouble, your mama brings you trouble, your siblings bring you trouble, your wife brings you trouble. You can't hold all of that yourself. You got to cast it on the Lord and say, "God, I know you're able to take care of this." Number 5 is a prophet. He prophesies to his children. He tells them what they can be and what they can become and what they can do. He speaks to their destiny, not their predicament, their destiny. You're better than this. You can go further than this. This is not the end of your life. Get back up and fight again. I see it in the spirit. You're a winner. You don't even know it. You're a winner. You'll win if you don't quit. You got to prophesy to them. I think every man in the room ought to preach a little bit. You ought to preach sometime. You ought to be able to preach to them and say, "You're going to make it."
Dad, I'm grateful to you for choosing to stay when I was little. Why am I crying?
At the time when I'm graduating and I'm packing up and leaving, then it's really gonna hit me. And
I think about a time when if you're not around, like that would be awful. But like you're the person that would always laugh.
Dad, I'm grateful because we didn't know how long you were going to be with us, so we're so happy that you're still here.
Dad, I'm proud of you for knowing that the most important thing was to just give your kids so much time.
I miss having the chance to just check in with you. I miss your sketchbooks.
I love you. I love you too.
We don't say it enough.
Hey.
I love you, Dad.
It doesn't compute until they're gone. So tell them now.